What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Off the Schneid. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the draft needs post-free agency for the New England Patriots heading into the 2021 NFL Draft. Patriots in an interesting spot, one that I don't think they've ever really been in. They've been very extremely active in free agency, backing up Brinks trucks to pretty much everybody, and then getting guys back on the cheap, like I think Lawrence Guy and James White coming back on the cheap type of thing. Okay, where do we start here? A lot of movers and shakers. You got two tight ends coming in, two extremely sought after, I'm sure, tight end prospects. They're established, but they're also going to be improving prospect type of guys. Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith. I certainly didn't expect them both to go to the same team, but here we are. I think that this offense is going to look extremely different than they did last year. Just want to point out my apologies with the graphics there, with all of the pieces on the Patriots on the offensive and defense. It is hard to fit everything in the graphics here, but work with me, use your imagination. You can obviously tell where the offense ends and the defense starts. But as far as needs, I think, man, it's going to be interesting with what the Patriots do. Do they move up? Do they move up into the top 5 to draft a quarterback? Or do they sit and see what comes to them at 15? There's not likely to be 5 or 6 quarterbacks drafted by picks 15. Like, it's just not extremely likely that that's going to happen. I don't see it happening. So what does that mean? Who drops to them? Who drops to them at 15? Do they want to move up to the top 10 maybe? Do they stand pat, sit there at 15, see if a guy like Justin Fields or Trey Lance, potentially a guy like maybe Kyle Trask is there? He will be there, but do they make that pick? Do they trade back and go after a guy like that? It's a really, really interesting position that the Patriots are in. They're not far away. I shouldn't say they're not far away. They're going to compete this year for this division, for a playoff spot, all that kind of stuff. So, but it's just very interesting with what they're going to do. I don't think they've picked top 15 in a long time. So what do they need? To me, I look at wide receiver. I think they have a lot of guys that can do similar things. Julian Edelman's not getting any younger. Still, I'm sure can get the job done if he's healthy. But they got a lot of guys that can do the same things. Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby Myers, who led this team in receiving yards last year. The only kind of outlier different guy is N'Keal Harry, who has yet to take that step. Does he do it this year? We'll see. But they got those two tight ends that are going to take that pressure off anyways. So, man, this is going to be an interesting team to watch. A lot of pieces, a lot of moving parts. You got 3 running backs in Sony Michel, Damian Harris, and then James White catching balls out of the backfield. Personally, I expect, unless the Patriots trade into the top 5, which I don't really see happening, but if they trade into the top 5, then they will draft a quarterback there, and he'll likely start day 1. We'll see. But as it sits right now, April 4th, I suspect that Cam Newton is the starter here. And then if they draft a quarterback in the first or even second round, I think that tells you a lot and everything you need to know about how they feel about Jarrett Stidham. And he's not going to be that guy. He's not going to be the backup. He's not going to be the starter. He's pretty much, they can trade him, release him, whatever. Jarrett Stidham is going to be an afterthought if the Patriots draft a quarterback in this draft, in my opinion. Maybe he's a career backup there. Maybe. We'll see. But not a ton of needs. I think offensive line, they'll have to add a piece, just a depth, rotational type of a guy. Not rotational, sorry, but a depth guy. They brought back Trent Brown. Isaiah Wynn's great. Michael Onwenu, I think, will be just fine there. David Andrews is still there. Ted Karras comes back. Shaq Mason is still there. I think you just need to add a depth type of a competition piece on the offensive line. Move to the defensive side of the ball. They spent a lot of money, brought in a lot of different guys. A lot of guys that sat out last year are coming back. Not a lot of holes again. Like that's a very, it's going to be a common theme with teams in the AFC here, in the AFC East, I should say, except for the Jets maybe. But every team has improved in free agency an extreme amount or brought back everybody, including the Patriots. I think if they could find, this is very much easier said than done, but if they can find a guy like Grady Jarrett, like Jarran Reed, I'm not going to say like Aaron Donald because there's no one like Aaron Donald besides Aaron Donald. So, but if they could find a guy like, say, Grady Jarrett, that can get after the quarterback from a 3-4 stance, hand in the dirt type of a guy, it's easier said than done. These guys don't grow on trees, but if you can find a guy like that, then I think this defense would be very, very dangerous. Not that it isn't already. Matt Judon comes in. I think that'll be huge. Kyle Van Noy comes back. That's going to very, very much help. It's still got Josh Uche from last year, Raekwon McMillan, Chase Winovich. I mean, the list goes on. Like this is a very, 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 very quality defense. It was decent last year and it's improved. So, and we're not even in the draft yet. So, maybe, and then Jalen Mills, man, Kyle Duggar's still there. The only thing that they could lose, and the only thing that they need, because they might lose as well, JC Jackson. If I'm a team out there, I'm giving up a second round pick to sign JC Jackson to a very lucrative contract. And I'm scooping them from the Patriots if they don't match it. They're starting to get pushed to the cap, so I don't know if they would have the space to match an offer, a strong offer to JC Jackson. And if I'm another team out there that can part with the second round pick and I have the salary cap space, I'm absolutely sending a blank check to JC Jackson personally. And then that's going to be a need at corner. Stephon Gilmore is still there, one of the best in the game. There's been a lot of talk about him being traded. Why would you? If I'm the Patriots, I absolutely hang on to Stephon Gilmore. I probably let JC Jackson go if someone extends an offer to him, which I do expect. And then you're going to need some help at corner. So that's pretty much it. There's not really much for needs. You got a lot of guys that are depth, rotational, can come in and do different things. You can blitz from anywhere. It's such an interesting defense for this team here, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see the different looks that they're going to give offenses. So I guess as far as needs, man, they got some capital too. 10 picks total, and man, I said last year that the Patriots were a huge wild card in the draft, and I think they're even more of a wild card in this year's draft. It's crazy with the amount of capital that they have, and Belichick is known for making moves at the draft. So we'll see, man. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do and what they actually end up selecting, because I think all the mocks and things like that is not going to do justice for what Bill Belichick actually does in this draft. It's going to be very interesting. What do they need? My opinion, on offense, wide receiver, and this is, for me, it's no particular order because it's the Patriots. And they do strange things, and they know what they know, and they know what they want, and they know what they're going to do. And good luck projecting what they're going to do. So wide receiver, a fairly big body type of a guy that N'Keal Harry, they're hoping he's going to be, and it's hard to say whether he's going to be that guy or not. So a big body type wide receiver, offensive line, depth guys. If they could find a Grady Jarrett type 3-4 lineman, that would help a ton. Maybe if they do want to go after a stud edge rusher type of a thing, I guess my number one would be cornerback, because I do expect them to lose JC Jackson. If I'm another team, I absolutely go after him. So corner is definitely something that they should look after for the future and the right now, to be honest with you. That's probably their top need. And then quarterback for the future and potentially right now. We'll see what they do. So a lot of question marks, not on the roster, but just what they're going to do in the draft. Keep an eye out for my mock draft. Will be coming out in a couple of weeks, so I'll obviously have them doing something. So we'll see. I haven't decided exactly what I want the Patriots to do, in my opinion. I appreciate the watch. Give me a like and a subscription on your way out. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.